I am honored beyond words to convey to receive an award named for Gilel Storch, a man who was a model of conscience and courage in the darkest of times. With great ingenuity and unflagging persistence, he saved thousands of Jews from the death planned for them by the Third Reich. Gilel Storch believed he was his brother's keeper, and he acted on that belief. May we follow in his way to combat evil, including the resurgence of anti-Semitism. I appreciate so much the kind words Jeff said about me, yet I know that more than anything else, good fortune, mazel, accounts for my part in the effort to achieve equal citizenship stature for women, and also for the office I have held now for nearly 26 years. An Isaac Bashevis singer, a remembrance that bears retelling. Singer's grandfather was a renowned Orthodox rabbi who in a sermon put this question to his congregation: why is the Almighty so eager for praise? 3 times a day we pray, Adonai Eloheinu. We say how great he is, how wonderful. Why should the creator of all the stars, all the planets, be so eager for praise? The sage rabbi's answer: the Almighty knows from experience, from divine experience, that when people stop praising him, they begin to praise one another. This singer's grandfather said, is what the Almighty does not like. But small people that we are, singer added, we enjoy sometimes some praise, especially when it comes from the mouths of good people. Just so, I am enjoying this event and my revisit to Sweden. It is fitting on this occasion to speak of 2 Jewish women raised in the USA whose humanity and bravery inspired me in my growing up years. First, Emma Lazarus, elder cousin to the great jurist Benjamin Nathan Cardozo. Emma Lazarus was a Zionist before that word came into vogue. Her love for humankind, and especially for her people, is evident in all her writings. She wrote constantly from her first volume of poetry published in 1866 at age 17, until her death from cancer far too soon at age 38. Her poem, The New Colossus, is etched on the base of the Statue of Liberty. Her words have welcomed legions of immigrants, including my father and grandparents, people seeking in the USA shelter from fear and long for freedom from intolerance. My next inspirer, Hadassah founder Henrietta Sold. Born in 1860, 11 years after Emma Lazarus, Sold lived until 1945. She knew how to say no better than any other person whose words I have read. When her mother died, a man well known for his community spirit, Chaim Peretz, offered to say the Kaddish mourner's prayer that ancient custom instructed could be recited only by men. Soul responded to Peretz's offer in a letter dated September 16, 1916. the key passages. It is impossible for me to find words in which to tell you how deeply I was touched by your offer to act as cottage for my dear mother. What you have offered to do is beautiful beyond thanks. I shall never forget it. You will wonder then that I cannot accept your offer. I know well and appreciate what you say about the Jewish custom that only men recite the mourner's prayer. And if there are no male survivors, a male stranger may act as a substitute. And Jewish custom is very dear to me. Yet I cannot ask you to say Kaddish after my mother. The Kaddish means that the survivor publicly manifests his intention to assume the relationship to the Jewish community which his parents had, so that the chain of tradition remains unbroken from generation to generation, each adding its own link. You can do that for the generations of your family. I must do that for the generations of my family. My mother had 8 daughters and no son. Yet never did I hear a word of regret pass the lips of either my mother or my father that one of us was not a son. When my father died, my mother would not permit others to take our daughter's place in saying the Kaddish. And so I am sure I am acting in her spirit when I am moved to decline your offer. But beautiful your offer remains nevertheless. And I repeat, I know full well that it is much more in harmony with the generally accepted Jewish tradition than is my or my family's conception. You understand me, don't you? Those plea, urging celebration of our common heritage while tolerating, indeed appreciating the differences among us concerning religious practice, is captivating, don't you agree? I recall her words even to this day, when a colleague's words betray a certain lack of understanding. When I became involved in the movement to open doors for women, enabling them to enter occupations once closed to them, lawyering and judging, bartending and policing, to take a few of many examples, I was heartened by the words of a girl of my generation. She wrote, "One of the many questions I have that has often bothered me is why women have been, and still are, thought to be so inferior to men. It's easy to say it's unfair, but that's not enough for me. I'd really like to know the reason for this great injustice. Men presumably dominated women from the very beginning because of their greater physical strength. It's men who earn a living, beget children, and do as they please. Until recently, women silently went along with this, which was stupid, since the longer it's kept up, the more deeply entrenched it becomes. Fortunately, education, work, and progress have opened women's eyes. In many countries, they've been granted equal rights. Many people, mainly women, but also men, now realize how wrong it was to tolerate this state of affairs for so long. Yours, N.M. Frank." The Prussian comment was one of the last entered in her diary. Anne Frank was born in the Netherlands in 1929. She died in 1945 while imprisoned in Bergen-Belsen, 3 months short of her 16th birthday. I am sometimes asked how my heritage as a Jew and my occupation as a judge fit together. And my response is printed in your program for this afternoon. I am a judge, born, raised, and proud of being a Jew. The demand for justice, for peace, for enlightenment runs through the entirety of Jewish history and Jewish tradition. I hope in all the years I have the good fortune to continue serving on the bench of the Supreme Court of the United States, I will have the strength and courage to remain steadfast in service of that demand. I have asked Jewish culture in Sweden to divide the Storch Award this year among a few recipients. Organizations seeking to repair tears in our society, to reduce intolerance and promote understanding. One of the organizations is the Order of the Teaspoon, launched here in Stockholm in 2006 and inspired by the words of Amos Oz. The fire is huge, but each of us, millions of us, armed with a teaspoon, can help turn the flame to ashes. Teaspoon begins with children and their teachers, aiming to spread appreciation of the dignity of each individual, to promote respect for all of humankind, and to oppose intolerance. The second organization is Hand in Hand, an Israeli organization operating schools in which Jewish and Arab Israeli citizens learn together, play together, develop close friendships and cultural understanding. From the earliest grades, the children are taught to speak, read, and write in Hebrew and in Arabic. They learn of the shared values of Jews, Muslims, and Christians, among them helping others, welcoming strangers, opposing oppression, and caring for the earth. I will choose a third organization, one in the USA, an organization that strives to put down the ugliness in our midst and to foster democracy, equality, and decency. With huge appreciation for Jewish culture in Sweden and for the Gilel Storch Award, may I say to all gathered here, Shalom, Todah Rabah.